Okay. Time for the next game. Today, we got an FPS called Spirits of Xanadu. And I've already actually beaten it because in my pre-stream testing to make sure it all worked, one, which I'm glad I did because it didn't initially, and two, I finished it. It's pretty short, but it's also really compelling. And I'm like, look, I want to see what's going to do next. So we're in for a good one today. I got the normal ending when I played myself. I'm gonna go for the good ending this time. It's a little convoluted, but I'll do my best. So let's get started. Now loading.
Good morning. Is it morning where you are? Guess it depends on which side of the nearest sun you're on. I'll have to ask one of the egg.
Hold on, I'm gonna turn it up a bit.
Cats. Anyway, if you're listening to this message, then you're in the vicinity of Alpha Orionis, and you'll be docking with the Xanadu shortly. I just wanted to say thank you once again for taking this job on. There aren't many people who would have done it. The crew are going to be pretty grateful to you, I know that. Help them to get their drive running again, fix up any other problems they may be having, and get back home. The Xanadu has been conducting some very important research, so bring her back to us safely. And keep yourself safe, okay? See you in a few months. Good luck.
To the active commander of the ERA research vessel Xanadu, being the highest ranking officer aboard said vessel, usual channels of communication having failed to respond as of the 21st of March 1983, this order has been issued and sent in the care of Operative 375. It is the direct imperative of the highest order, and immediate compliance is required as follows. Course to be set immediately for Earth, coordinate 0356-3480-1147-3636. Any system failures preventing the Xanadu's return to Earth to be immediately addressed by any means possible. The safety of materials collected on the surface of Demhe to be ensured by any means possible, and to take precedence over all other concerns, including crew welfare. Failure to comply with this order will be considered a Class 3 act of insubordination and tried as such. No extenuating circumstances will be considered. This order has been ratified by the Board of Trustees of the Extrasolar Research Association, ERA, on the 21st April 1983, and is issued on their behalf by Admiral Prescott Sully. So, as you might imagine...
Welcome to the Xanadu. Please remain in your vessel until the docking light turns green.
As you might imagine, the ship is in distress, and considering the low budget of this game, we're not going to find any survivors. That light flashes every now and then. You'll understand why eventually. But over here we got gun. Now there are more guns in this game. I never found them. Also, you can shoot these and they blow up and hurt you. So, the robots are the main threat of the game. But they're not terribly, observant. And these little guys, they don't want to hurt you. They just want to do their job. Look at them go. They're like a little shoe scale. There are grades all over the place, and some of them are even useful. And over here, we have, like, a luchador mask. I've seen people refer to them as kabuki masks. I don't think that's what they are. I think they're luchador masks. Can't open this one because there's steam coming out. Fire hose count 1. There's a lot of fire hoses. blazed like 1,000 suns, having been anointed by the handmaidens of Sirazad with certain precious oils, and he carried in his hands her gift to him, the awful mirror of truth, which would always show its beholder what would have happened had it not been consulted. Then for the whole night Harun al-Din sat before the mirror, and it showed him strange likeness, which were in turn reflected by his own face, so that there was a flickering between them as of a flame in the wind. O night, we who dwell in the desert of the world are not permitted to know such things. Beneath our feet only the countless grains of sand, above our heads the wild and sorcerous skies. The lights of men are as stars in the darkness, uncertain of brightness and in number. Just before the sun rose above the dunes, Harun al-Din made obeisance as is customary, then took the treasures he had won upon his back and continued his journey. He flew over the great cities, which in those... This is page 23, and there is a 163 there. That will be relevant for the good ending. As I understand it, there are, like, panels that you can shoot to open, but I don't know where they are. Also, lots of things are interactable in this game for, you know, for no real gameplay purpose, but to add a little bit of flavor. I really like that. We got a map here. So we're here. Over here, got auxiliary, got engineering, cruise quarters, offices, research storage, brick, medical bay, conference room, bridge, Xanadu. So part one is using these elevators to get around. And always be on the lookout for more threats. The death comes for you pretty quickly in this game, but it's also fairly avoidable because the robots are so inattentive. Other one. And you do regen health. Wait for the health to regen. These shielded turrets that's just around this corner, you have to get behind them and turn their shields off. And then you can just give them a few shots and you'll win the damage race. Maybe it's too loud. It's hard to tell when I have no one, like, helping me. So first things first, we need to get this engine running. There's obstructions detected, so let's deal with all that. Push the buttons back in. Climb under this. And there are screwdrivers in the gears. Those aren't supposed to be there. Alright, everything should be a go. So just turn all the switches on.
Engines operational.
That's good. Button. And you do want to scout to make sure that there's nothing going to flank you every time you even re-enter a room, because enemies do repopulate. Especially when entering a room this way, you want to be very careful. There's one of the data drives we need to finish the game. And drawers. Lots and lots of drawers. And some of them have useful things in them. Mostly you're looking for papers. None in here. Good to leave them open, just so you know you've already checked them. In order to finish the game, we need a lot of papers. At least to get the good ending. Bad ending, not so picky. Those guys are the worst. Doesn't look like there's any other robots around. This is the crew quarters, I recognize. This game definitely does a good job with its atmosphere. Every little sound... Oh, there's a fuse. Every little sound sounds like something that wants to come and bite you.
If you have found this audio log, then I have failed. Should I succeed, I will destroy it before the ship reaches Earth. My name is Cornell Johns, and I am the principal engineering officer on board the Xanadu. I am sound of body and mind. Sounder, I think, than I have ever been. The same cannot be said for my crewmates. That which strengthens me is a cancer to them. They will despise me for it in time. So I have acted first. I have disabled the ship's computers and taken the control of the vessel into my own hands. I do not relish this deception, but it is necessary. The captain, I feel, can no longer do her job. Let my intentions be clear. I wish only to secure our safe passage home.
Are these the lost numbers? I feel like these are the lost numbers. I don't think they're important. There are some numbers you need to, like, jot down. Grow apart. Oh, there were some masks in there. Well, $11, $17, $39, $42. Obviously, a lot more numbers than is needed for that. Let's just try one of them. 11, 17. 1, 1, 1, 1. 1, 1, 1, 2. Handling the auxiliary power will help. Okay, so since the engines are on, and I have the fuse, I can turn the lights on. And I need to handle this. So the way it works is you hit some of the buttons, and then you're like, is that enough? Oh, that's too much. So let's reset. How about just 21? That's too much. Let's reset. How about just 8? That's not enough. So add 5. That's too much. How about 8 and 3? That's good. Online, offline. How about 8? Not enough. Plus 13? Still not enough. Plus 5? Still not enough. Plus 3? Not enough. 2? 1? 21? Overload. 21, 13? Not enough. Plus 8? Too much. Plus 5? There we go. Online. And a couple over here. 13, online.
All personnel, please report to the bridge.
That is for later. I don't really have to go there now. No eating, no smoking. So storage is where I came in from. Go to the bathrooms. In the Steam version, there is an achievement for putting all of the seats up. So even though I'm not playing the Steam version, I feel compelled to do it. Alright, that's... Oh yeah, this isn't the crew quarters, this is engineering. So that's everything in engineering for now, until I get the code for that door. Little guy. Anything in here? Got 2 ways to go. Okay, so there's a hostel in here. There's one of them. And that's specifically one that you don't want to get near. Yeah, so I died. That's not that surprising. So when you die, you wake up in this cell with a broken door. Yeah, those robots are pretty resilient. Like I said, the little flying robots are really the most dangerous. Alright, I was just waiting for the HP to get back, but I've cleared out pretty much all of them. And toilet. Flush. Okay. So, here's one I remember. There's also a door here, but there is a code. That's Fahrenheit 450. Fahrenheit 451. This code is 2457, already put in. It's interesting. At any rate, there's a toilet in here, and obviously, I mean, come on. Oh, and there's a mask. And a paper. Tell of the deserted campfire made famous by the poet, and the cold ghosts which linger about the dying embers. Then the blind boy began to sing in a voice as thin and pure as a flame, and the song he sang was the old one, which the birds also sing, and their horses in their stalls dream of at night. He sang of love and how he would go to meet his beloved, even though the journey would be 1,000 leagues and he should die upon the road. All the while Harun al-Din sat with his legs crossed and did not move. The boy listened to the ticking of Harun's mechanism and wondered at the nature of his companion. Many songs had he sang for fellow travelers around the warm heart of the invisible fires. Many nights had he lain awake, waiting for strange hands to find him in the dark and exact the price of their kindness. O desert, O night, this is the tale of Harun al-Din, the prince of Automata, the tale of his days in the world of men. Gone now are the fires around which he sat, swept over by the endless sands. Gone are the... Let's just remember to flush. Messy, messy, messy.
Captain Zhao was no longer to be trusted or reasoned with. If she cannot be stopped, she will sacrifice our lives to a blind fear of the unknown. She is a Herodin, an ape, a rosebud ape. Solomon panders to her delusions with his idiot experiments like a child with a chemistry set, a ruptured balloon. But I feel a bigger ape woken and walking abroad. Hear the static crackle of his fur. Pleasures upon pleasures. Their little walls crumble, and it worries them to peek into the rooms next door. Yet individuals are nothing. They are not needed. There is a mess of chatter when there should be a single note of pure harmony. I have not told the half of what I have seen. There is a great wave coming, and it'll wash all these little ripples away. There is a...
Okay, so there's 2 turrets in this room, as well as a camera and a lightning drone. You need to get in this room later, so... Yeah, later will be later. There is a way to turn those off, it's just... Ouch. It requires finding something I haven't found yet. Yeah, so whenever you like get into combat, the lights will turn back off. They'll turn back on eventually. You want to be as far away as possible when fighting those walking drones, because all they do is they run up to you and they explode. And if they're right on top of you, it's a one-hit kill. They actually try to hug you. Look, I'm hardly gonna leave it unflushed. Who knows what he was doing in there? Alright, well, the lights are back on. That ways to the bridge, I'm pretty sure. No, this is... right back to the medical bay. Yeah, there's the bridge. The bridge sucks. I want to save it for later. Because there's like 8 million flying zappy drones in the bridge, and I hate them. They're not doing a very good job cleaning this all up. Okay, that's everything in here. Masks. Even knowing what I do about the story, I don't know what's up with the masks. Chemical composition of sample 7A. Some chemicals.
The time is 0800 hours on the dot. The date is the 19th of March. The year of our Lord is 1983. The dashing young science officer in attendance is Solomon Agnew. I'm about to open up Object 7, a seemingly hollow globe of unknown composition as retrieved by our probe from the surface of Demi, following all appropriate protocol and safety procedures as listed in the company book, yada 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 yada. I'll write all this up properly later. Okay. I'm about to use the laser to attempt a first insertion at the point where sample 7A was collected. Initial setting is 7.3. Oh, wait, that's interesting. There seems to be...
So as you can see, we're infected. Slipped about the marble floor in their own gore, and their cries were most terrible and pitiful, and yet they could not move Harun al-Din, the soulless one. On the pedestal sat the unseeable shield itself, its mirrored surface polished and ground to such perfection that it was impossible for human eyes to behold. Even the keenest of gazes would slide smoothly from it, and a man carrying the shield could pass unseen as he chose. Harun al-Din picked it up and slung it over his shoulder. As he turned to leave, his vizier approached him and held out his hands. "O empty one," he declared, "why have you come in arms to my house? Know that I would have given you the shield had you only asked it of me." But then the vizier looked into the mask of Harun al-Din and saw the lie sparkling in his own eyes like a precious stone. "I have turned a curved blade in the wound of kings." Think that's everything from here. Yeah. Well, let's research. Man! Always gotta check every little bit. You never know when someone slipped a paper somewhere. Boiled up from out the fissure in a furious cloud of black smoke like a thunderstorm, filling the night air and putting out the stars. This was the great western Jinn, also called the Jinn of the East and the slave of Iblis. The Jinn fought with Harun al-Din for 3 days and 3 nights, and their combat was as a terrible storm that could be heard for many leagues around. But as mighty as the Jinn might be, Harun al-Din was tireless. No part of him could be made to feel pain, and he had no desires for the Jinn to prey upon, as he was wont to do with mortal men. So in the end, the Prince of Automata was victorious, and he sent the Jinn back into the earth, having taken from him the horn of the unborn king, the sound of which could bring down the walls of cities and make the very ground to tremble. Praise be to Allah. Then Harun al-Din slung the horn across his back together with the shield and turned to the east, to the lands where the sun rises and the Princess Sirazad rules over a kingdom filled with gardens and flowing waters. Her counselors, the birds, which in an ancient... do need all of those. That's a bloody audio log.
This is the last confession and farewell of Cornell Johns, as I slip him from my shoulders like an old coat. I have killed my crewmate Solomon Agnew with a .35 screwdriver pushed up into his skull from under his chin. He pleaded with me not to do it, and I held him and cried, shedding my humanity like a man sweating out poison. Then I finished him carefully. I watched in his eyes as he left, the life force arcing between severed nodes, the long leaps of faith falling short. I felt him go. A great weight lifted. All his maniac chatter muted in an instant. It was a mercy to kill him. I took his body and I gave it up into the night, into the sunless sea. The captain will be next. Her thoughts are an interference, a mouthless drone fringed with sinuous rails. When I return to Earth, I will be clothed in light, scoured like a missing piece. I will be a sample. A sample. I will be an example.
Time of incident, 23rd January 1983, 11:30 hours. Location of incident, Recreation Hub. Person reporting incident, Lieutenant Solomon Agnew. Please describe the nature of the incident. At 11 a.m., I activated Recreation Droid 323 and requested a game of basketball. I was wearing the blue and silver shorts, which Captain Zhao had previously described as spicy. I scored at least one good three-pointer, and then I woke up in the med bay with my ears ringing. Apparently, 323's sodium battery had exploded under the stress, destroying the droid and rendering me unconscious. This is the third similar incident this trip, and I am beginning to lose my taste for sports. Please describe any events or factors that may have contributed to the incident. My revered bosses at ERA decided to order their latest batch of recreation droids from a company whose CEO is renowned for cutting corners and spends more time betting starlets than ensuring the quality of his company's products. Please describe the consequences of the incident. Lieutenant Johns has assured me he will test all the batteries again, but repeated his warning that he cannot guarantee their stability. Captain Zhao has taken my complaint very seriously and was very sympathetic. She expressed regret that my spicy shorts are beyond repair. On a scale of 1 to 10, how effective do you think this form was in helping you report the incident? 8? Rip in peace, spicy shorts. Also Solomon Agnew later. Well, let's follow the red carpet, as it were. Look at it go. Alright, well, I guess I'll wait for that to be done. Mask. Alright, let's keep looking around. Have we gone in these bathrooms yet? I think I have. Alright, let's handle the medical bay.
Solomon Michael Agnew, and I am a science officer aboard the...
Cryogenic pods now functional in the medbay.
My name is Solomon Michael... Fuck off! My name is Solomon Agnew, and I am a crew... a science officer on the Xanadu. I am 36 years and... Fuck off! Stop talking!
A bandit chief renowned for his cruelty, and in right hand was a curved knife, dripping with the Crowsroan's blood, and his left hand was the key. They say that you work only for the glory of Allah, he told Harun al-Din, but now you must also serve me. Then he commanded the Prince of Automata to fetch for him the other three great marvels of the world, the unseeable shield of Mycenae, which lay in the treasure house of the Vizier Jahafar, the horn of the unborn king worn around the neck of the great western Jinn, and the terrible mirror of truth for many years in the keeping of the Princess Sirazad. When you bring them back to me, I will turn the key in your back, he said, but remember that you only have the course of one moon left to you. Harun al-Din turned and left the cave where his master lay lifeless, followed up into the light by the chieftain's wicked laughter. The great lodestone buzzed in his breast, and he rose into the air like a... No papers in there. Repairing that, cryogenic pod comes later. Later. I don't want to take blind corners into a hug bot. Annoying fly, I'm the Great Leon. Ah, that's a deconstructed murder bot. Okay, anything in here?
The date is the 23rd of March. The time is 9-something. I still can't access the files on my computer. The headaches are getting worse, and I remember less and less of what happened last week. It seems clear to me that we have contracted some sort of virus. Captain Zhao does not want me to say that until I finish the tests, but it's my opinion. It's my professional opinion. I just wish I could remember. We're a long way from home. It's like a silk road that... I'm sorry, I really...
Definitely want to run away and let my health regen rather than continue fighting that one. Fighting those pillbox drones is... you'll usually end up taking some damage, so you want to be on high health when encountering them. Like I said, there are other guns. I do not know where they are. Alright, let's go to the crew quarters. See you later. Alright, let him calm down a bit. Oh boy. Okay. There is another way in, and it's safer. Dang. As you can see, there's not really any penalty. Dying just sends you back to the brig every time. There is an Iron Man mode you can play where you only got one life. But I don't want to do that. That sounds like work. And everything that you killed, I mean, it stays dead. Destroyed. Dead destroyed. Cornell Johns. Smoke. Now I'm cool. 4th January 1983, 9:30 hours. Recreation area, Lieutenant Cornell Johns. I received a message at 9:32 from Lieutenant Solomon Agnew to say one of the security robots has gone Westworld in the recreation area. Unfamiliar with the reference, I was unsure how to respond, but I immediately attended the site of the incident to find that Unit 15 had malfunctioned and was attempting to use its neuro-disabler on the soda vending machine. I manually deactivated Unit 15 and moved it to the engineering area. I am currently looking into possible cases for the malfunction. Unit 15's last regular service was on 20th December 1982, and at the time no problems were noted. Unit 15 is out of service until I have determined the cause of the malfunction. At my request, Captain Zhao conveyed an informal meeting in the conference room, and it was agreed by Lieutenant Agnew that he would desist from using references to popular culture during the performance of his duties. On a scale of 1 out of 10, full 10, baby! Alternative lesser permutations, hiding alternative lesser permutations, hiding alternative lesser permutations, hiding alternative lesser permutations. Looks like a capital D. Dear Captain Jones, thank you for your email regarding our T-606 range of automated defense turrets. I'm afraid I am not at liberty to discuss the uses to which other organizations have put our equipment, but I can indeed confirm that the force field deactivation switches must always be placed outside the range of the field itself before the unit can be activated. This is a safety feature and a legal requirement. Kind regards, Mari Pequeno, Freebird Security Systems. Captain Jones, this is an informal message. It's off the record, asshole. A man in my position can chew your balls off from the other side of the galaxy and know that his words will stay just between the two of us. Unlike those messages of yours, which you thought were so nicely encrypted that we'd never intercept them. This is from Prescott Sully. So this is the commanding officer, the one who sent me here. You'll be pleased to know that we've decided against disciplinary action. The misogyny, narcissism, and sociopathy which our resident psych tells us you display in great measure stop just short of the outright insubordination to save your ass. But when you get back, you and I are going to need a long talk about your future career. I'll say this once, I have complete faith in Commander Zhao and her ability to lead this mission. Her gender has no bearing on this, and her sexuality is frankly none of your goddamn business. I'm still considering to what extent it would be useful for her to know of your views. Consider this an unofficial reprimand. I have my eye on you, Sully. And there's another one of the drivers. Get that out of the way. Dear Solomon, it is always an unexpected pleasure to hear from an old student. I remember this is from someone we don't know, but it is from Sully at mail. That's interesting. Isn't with great fondness, and I am not surprised in the least to hear that your career has taken such a literally stellar turn. I'm afraid, however, that I do not feel fully equipped to answer your questions just yet. The cellular structure you describe is unlike anything I have previously encountered. Utterly fascinating. I will pore over your data in the coming days and reply in greater length with my observations and suggestions as soon as I can. In the meantime, this brief reply is an old man's assurance that his dwindling but still vigorous powers are entirely at your disposal. With great affection, Dr. Maffeo Donato. That was the one I already read. Captain Agnew. That's fine. Go ahead and contact Donato if you think he could shed some light. Just stress that any data is confidential. He'll know the drill anyway. To be honest, it's not important that we have a complete analysis at this stage, only that the specimen be returned to us intact. There is no need to deviate from the protocol we discussed last month. Bag it up and bring it back. Regards, Admiral P. Sully. That's too much soda. Oh, that's so much soda.
Hello, darling. I've just been listening to the recording I made for you last night on my birthday. It's a recording that you'll never hear. I know that much. If I tell you that I had a few drinks first, you'll already know what it was like. But it was a good day. John's fiddled with the robots, and they threw a kind of party for me. It's pretty nice of him, considering. Anyway, communications are still down, so I can't send a message in the usual way, but I wanted to record this one just to say, I love you. Just that. I love you. I opened up your birthday card, and it made me cry like a baby. I'm so sick of space. It's beautiful, but I'm sick of it. Talking of which, John says a cold. I know, a cold. Where'd that come from? I'll send this message when he gets the comms online again.
Present day. Incident localized to certain time zones such as Occidental. Note that we are not on Earth. Not sure. All around. Inside head or heads? Generally not sure. Medbay? I report the incident, but difficult to determine exactly which person or persons. If further information is required, thank you. Has been compared already to a large figurative spider, but also in one of our minds, a chitin from a book or some other thing which spins in the middle. Spider is best analogy? I don't know how to better say it. Poetic? We wants to say it as a great wave to be welcomed. We are a trembling nephew again, and to the black ocean it will pull us in and show us, etc. It loves our words, rolls them like pebbles. Finding and opening it was an arguable mistake. Loosening and holding our mouths during the briefing, read wonderful, our own words. Wonderful display of such. Nothing we feel has a solid grounding. Nothing we say holds its own. Everything slips on the surface. We slip one into the other. Some of this may have contributed. The incident has led me to fill in this form, reflecting upon prior incidents and also considering there may be a future or further exacerbated incidents of same. We all feel this will become increasingly possible. There may later be some confusion as to who is who. Not sure. 8. Gotta go really hit and run with those turrets, because, yeah, they kill you in like 3 hits. Maybe 4. Okay, it's that one. Run over here, secure this room. Room secured. Okay. Commander Lucy Zhao. Alright, I'll find that password later. I just knew that one. Hey, it's a gun! Yay.
I have always loved the stars. I have always loved to sit and read in this room and watch them. I have loved my books, my thoughts. I once loved a girl who was more beautiful than I ever deserved. I love my nephews. I want them to be human, to live and die, not to... Today I killed Johns. I shot him and I threw his body out into space just as he had done for Solomon. But it is not enough. I will try to reach the bridge. If I cannot make it past the robots, then I will leave the ship and hope I take it with me. I must clench my mind like a fist, even to say these words. It hems me in, a dome of madness. I don't have much time. If you are listening to this, then I have failed, and it will be up to you to finish it. If there is any sign that it is still here, then you must do so. It's not a virus. It's not anything like that. It's too beautiful. A wonder too great to be allowed. It hangs in the center, dreaming. Only a star will end it. I've left the coordinates everywhere I could, tried to veil my intentions, but it will wipe them wherever it can. It will not even permit me to say them. I have not told the half of what I have seen.
Metal Gear Solid reference. Thought I saw something. Alright, got some pages. Here in the deep swell of the black night, I sway in the arms of alien tides. I once lit up to your lightest touch, now my instruments show absolutely nothing, however many miles in whichever direction, closing fast. 20th March, 1983, 1500 hours, Observation Area 2, Commander Lucy Zhao. As I was taking my downtime in the observation area, Lieutenant Agnew entered the room and told me he was looking for a sled which he had previously used to travel from his room to the bridge. I asked him if he had been drinking, and he replied that he had not. His behavior seemed otherwise to confirm he was sober. He then left the room, and when asked about the event later, 1535 hours in the recreation room, said he had no recollection. The bout of unexplained illness, which seems currently to be affecting the crew, detailed in Daily Log 237, may be a contributing factor. I wish only to note this incident as a minor concern. Lieutenant Agnew's behavior is otherwise beyond reproach. I will continue to monitor him and offer support as necessary. 9. I still miss the old template. I appreciate the nice handwriting. That's much easier to read. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Commander Zhao. Oh, nice little guy. Look at him go. Oh, you can't clean the chair. Commander Zhao, I'd like to offer my congratulations on the successful first phase of your mission. This is from Sully. You have fully justified the great faith I had in your abilities. Once preliminary analysis is complete, there will be no reason to delay in orbit, but you should set an immediate return course for Earth. The safe delivery of the samples is now your chief priority. Maintain a firm hold over your crew. Quarantine measures may be followed according to your prior instructions. I must once again stress, however, that the safety of the samples takes precedence over all other considerations. The answer to your second question is yes. I have absolute trust in your judgment and will support any disciplinary measures you consider necessary. An operative has been dispatched to assist in restoring your engine power. They should be with you in 75 to 80 days. If you manage to restore power before this time, then do not hesitate to set a return course immediately. The operative will be able to make it back on their own. Good luck. We are relying on you. That's me. I'm the operative. It's a marker. And you have brought them to me. In the moment of his triumph, Harun al-Din took up the long knife which had been his master's and pressed it into the chieftain's breast, so that it pierced to his very heart. The chieftain gasped and gazed into Harun al-Din's golden mask, saw reflected his own face filled with terror and confusion, and fell lifeless on the floor. Then Harun al-Din buried the body of the chieftain with the proper ceremonies, and just as his mechanisms were losing their strength, he sealed up the cave with himself and the other three marvels of the world inside it, so that never again might any of them be used for evil purposes. So ends the tale of Harun al-Din, the Empty One, Prince of Automata, fourth marvel of the world, and of the great service he did for all mankind. Long may his name be remembered. It's nice. So, I don't speak or read Chinese, but I have been studying a little Japanese. And this character right here, this is Rain. This is Snow, I think. I guess not. Oh well.
This is Captain Lucy Zhao recording an informal log on the 22nd March, 1983. This is a personal record, not an official document. As soon as our non-essential systems have been reinstalled, I will formally detail the events of the past few days. My current concern, aside from the difficulties with our computers, is for the health of my crew. It seems we are all suffering from an unexplained illness of some sort. The symptoms are migraines, mild hallucinations, insomnia, muscle spasms.
Dang, sorry. That one's important, so let me bring that up again.
This is Captain Lucy Zhao recording an informal log on the 22nd March, 1983. Personal record, not an official document. As soon as our will formally detail the events of the past few days. My current concern. It seems we are all suffering from an unexplained illness of some sort.
I'll try.
The symptoms are migraines, mild hallucinations, insomnia, muscle spasms. Solomon is investigating in more detail, although I worry that his behavior as a professional has been compromised by his recent emotional problems. Johns is bearing up to I hope for our consoles to be online again soon. He is a good worker, regardless of... Yes, he is a good worker. I hope and trust that all will be well in the near future. We will set a course for Earth as soon as we are able.
So now I feel I can talk about it. The flashing lights, those are migraines. The, like, furniture on top of the ceiling, that's the hallucinations. The fact that I'm a terrible shot, not the muscle spasms, that's just on me. The line around her neck where every night her head would be struck from her shoulders and in the morning magically restored to her. This is the price of beauty, willingly paid, she said. Then she told him the tale of the great devil Shaitan and how he howled in the most cunning prisons of prisons. He had been trapped for all time in the exact center of the earth, forever falling in an infinite number of directions at once. He passes his time imagining, said Sirazad. His mind is so great that he can imagine everything in the world, down to the smallest detail, even the thoughts of all the people and their deepest desires. He imagines that he walks abroad in the world once more and sows discord among the tribes of men, so that turns their hands and hearts against one another. Some men give thanks to that Shaitan is bound deep within the earth, considering themselves fortunate to be beholden only unto Allah. But I know that the world which Shaitan imagines is the world in which... 51. Oh, right. Got him. That's a Chivo in the Steam version. I just wanted to do it. Also a Chivo is to shoot hoops. Okay. Unfortunately, shooting hoops is a bit difficult when you don't have any control over your shot power. There is, in fact, a reason to do this. There we go. Boop. Overlook, review copy, do not distribute. Blade Runner 2, A Good Wife, Sombreros, Rocky, Sketons. I love the Sketon channel. I love this little thing. I'm a sucker for games within games like this. There is also a Chivo for clearing this. So I'll go ahead and do that. It's doom aiming, so you can't like aim up and down or no mouse aim at all. So you just have to, you know, swivel yourself around. Okay. Wait, can I not walk into the trees? I did not see a zombie hit me, but okay. It must have been hiding behind the tree or something. That's a nice Wilhelm scream, yeah. The worst part is trying to find the little guys, because... I mean, they hide. Zombies aren't supposed to hide. They're supposed to come right at me. Come on. I saw one over here. Oh, I guess not. Alright. Okay. Alright, never mind. Pacific Journal of Art and Books. Who is Liu Song, and why should you care what he is doing with engine parts? Hamlet in Space. World's first zero-G performance. Impressionism revisited. Major new retrospective opens in the US and China. World of Technology. 10 ways space exploration will affect you. The C750 Sir Clive Sinclair wants to make personal jetpacks a reality. Home Computing 1982's Essential Purchasing Guide. Real life. Harrison Ford is lost on Sigma. Special color feature. The View from Space, our regular column from the Outer Limits. 20 best screen swashbucklers. Return of the Dragon. 9 years after the accident that almost got him, Gong Fu's greatest legend returns to the screen. I think that's everything in here. Oh, but donuts. Eating all the donuts is a Steam achievement. If I remember right. Yeah, I suppose not. Okay. Cornell Johns. I hear one of them. I hear dorks, but I don't see dorks. Got him. It's probably just one of the cleaning robots. There's Boob again. There's the last of the data things that I need. Dear Mr. Johnson, thank you for submitting your essay, The New Gods, a Transhumanist Manifesto, for our consideration. We appreciate your thinking of us, but I'm afraid we have decided it does not quite fit with the ethos of our journal. It is perhaps a little heavy on personal opinion for the tastes of our readership. We wish you every success in placing it elsewhere. Kind regards, Martin Yang, Commissioning Editor, New Global Journal of Scientific Thought. Lucas Johns. I hope you are well. Jocelyn and I think of you often and pray for your safe return. I'm sure your work must be wonderfully rewarding, but I do hope you spare a thought for us now and then. Our financial worries are one small thorn in our otherwise blissful existence, but I won't bore you with all that now. I'm sure it remains of little interest to you. It may interest you slightly, however, to hear that Father passed last month. He never quite forgave you for turning your back on the faith in which you were brought up and nurtured, but he did ask for you at the end. I did not think it appropriate to pass on the rather bitter message for him with which you ended your last letter to me. The funeral will be held on the 23rd. I will lay a wreath for you at my own expense. May the blessings of God Almighty go with you, as with all men. Your brother Lucas. I'll kill one of them without taking damage one of these days. Okay. That's where you find the password, the pie password. I just didn't want to forget about it. The Book of Veils. And that is the pages we've been finding. On page 23 from the Book of Veils. So, Lucy Zhao mentioned that she hid the star coordinates somewhere, and this is her room, and that's a book with the pages. You get it. The numbers on the pages are the coordinates. Fathoms deep, the city's dungeon heart beats a binary tattoo. Above on the bright and drum-tight square, the gathering crowds jump like crumbs. Dear Aunt Lucy, thank you for your letter and the lovely photo. It's a kid. Photo of the spaceship. It looks very, very, very massive and nice. Charlie and me sometimes play spacemen like you, and we have a cardboard box, and when the aliens come, Charlie zaps them with the gun. Charlie says, take that. Have you zapped aliens? I am year 2 now at school. I miss you very, 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 very much. Mommy says she doesn't need to do my spelling because I'm so clever. Lots and lots and lots of love from Thomas. Oh, that's nice. Dearest Lucy, it's that day again. How dreadful that I haven't written a word to you since this day last year. I hope you know that you're often in my thoughts. I look at the night sky sometimes, and there you are. The old muse hasn't entirely abandoned me, you know. I remember the first time Jennifer brought you here to visit me. I told her then that you were someone special, that she shouldn't let you go. She looked at me with that wry smile. She already knew, of course. She didn't need her mother to tell her that. I visited her today and told her all our news. The Forsythia is in magnificent bloom again, but it begins to encroach a little on the plot. I talked to the church warden about it, and he was very understanding. I will write again soon, my dear, and in more length. With eternal fondness, Marjorie. That's her girlfriend wife. I'm not going to look at that picture. It's got boobies on it.
I have instructed Johns to place himself under immediate arrest in the brig. I am not fool enough to think he will listen. He has disabled the consoles, activated the security robots, is trying to set the ship on a course which is against my explicit orders. Possibly he has... I cannot. I will not. His act is selfish. He thinks only of his own survival. The virus is worsening. I know for certain we have all seen it. I cannot tell the half of what I have seen. It is a horror greater than... Solomon is still in his quarters. I can feel his panic as if it were my own. His voice is like Rose of roses. It is as if all our minds were being churned together. No quarantine will be effective. I will do what is expected of me.
Suppose that might be a Kabuki mask, huh? At any rate, this is the real one. When in the 143rd year after Heijira was last seen in the skies, it is said that all men will meet their maker but once, when their days in this world are over, but for Harun al-Din, Prince of Automata, it was once every 7 years. For after this length of time his wondrous mechanisms began to lose their force, and he would return to the Khosrown who had built him, who possessed the key that could restore his vigor. Ah, they called him the fourth marvel of the world. We may yet picture him as he flew home over Baghdad, like a bright star unfastened from the blue evening, the golden armor of his skin burnished as if aflame, the mirrored face in which kings and jinn had studied their reflections as impassive as ever. At journey's end he arrived before his maker's hidden cave, placed a sesame seed into a crevice in the rock, waited for the tick of a tiny mechanism, then a great fissure rumbled dolefully open to reveal the house of the Khosrown, a vast cavern lit with ancient lamps and full of such wonderful treasures as roc's eggs and giant getting close to all of them. Oh yeah, don't look at the picture, it's got boobies. Solomon's birthday playlist, no disco allowed. My generation, Frankie and Johnny, What I Say, Everybody's Going, Subterranean Homesick Blues, Little Jimmy Brown, Deep Space Rider, Run Around Sue, Space Oddity Part 2, Flying Saucers Rock and Roll, Sympathy for the Devil, Look of the Lion, Brown Eyed Handsome Man, 12 Gates to the City. Once more we see Solomon Agnew's soda addiction. Oh, his soda addiction. Okay, so there's no Kubrick and there's no Jack. King washed his hands of the whole thing after the studio turned his script inside out. Hell, they couldn't even film it in the same locations. But does this mean we should follow the advice of the movie's title and overlook it completely? I'm gonna stand up and disagree. Sure, it's not a patch on its more famous prequel, but this flick has got a lot going for it. Take the way the phantoms kind of blend into one another, churned together like a crazy wallpaper in the Jungle Suite. It's as if the hotel itself is one big ghost, a mess of memories and ancient murders. When the porter refers to Torrance, he says that like, I'm not crazy, right? There's no more? It just cuts off? Okay, good. From Michael Brownstein. Hi Solomon, you'll be pleased to hear that the powers that be have decided to run the View from Space column for another 12 issues at least. All credit goes to you for proving that it's more than just a gimmick. That said, could you try and work a few more personal bits into your reviews again? I mean, your analysis is great, but a lot of our readers really dug all that loneliness of space puts things into perspective stuff. Got to give the public what they want. By the way, don't shoot the messenger, but the chief is on my back about that review of Overlook. You'll have it ready soon, right? Take care out there, pal. Elsie Agnew. Hi, sweetheart. So nice to speak to you on the phone from Mission Control the other day. They were really good to me, and the lady in charge of the communications room, Molly, Marnie, even gave me a little tour of the base. It sounded like you were in the next room. People always say that, but I mean, wow, you're not even on the planet. I miss you so much. I drove up to see Daddy at the cabin the other day, and I think I just cried the whole time. It's not fair on him, I know, but I still just get like that sometimes. 2 years is a long time, but you're worth it. I love you, I love you, I love you. Look after yourself. Elsie. Mwah! I love this picture. I'm not seeing any readings. Have you signed for that? I like that. When he was the birthday cards, he said he read them and he got all teary. Happy birthday, Johns. Happy birthday, Johns. I think. I owe you one homemade cake. Happy birthday, Captain Lucy Chow. Aw, that's sweet. That's the one from his wife. Where's the one from Elsie? Did he put it? No, he just put his kabuki mask away. Yep, that looks like all that's in here. It's been too long. You're not making any sense, Solomon.
Experiment commences at 888. Control conditions assured, and held within vast clouds of semi-gaseous matter. A tall man who stands at the foot of your bed and says nothing. These are the hands which fed, tore the tongues and throats from out their reddened maws, the presence of scientific officers on deck notwithstanding. First insertion made between the 2nd and 3rd districts. A great 12-gated city. All the men versed in the 7 arts, such as grammar, rhetoric, the disposal of unnecessary matter according to the ship's regulations. First opening the subject's input ports, then going thrice about him with the needle in hand. I love you, babe. I do love you. I fall off walls and walkways repeatedly. A broken snow globe. A last flick of light in the west, and gone. This is on the 20th 26th of March. First Scientific Officer Solomon Agnew in attendance.
You know, you gotta. Big fire? Mask. Hey, I'm looking at you. Wow, that one gave me gas. Water. Oh, I think I saw a mask without realizing it. I heard the sound effect. Ah, no, that's the bubbling sound. Alright, that's the rec room. Yeah, don't need anything more in there. Alright. As everything from the crew quarters, I'm almost done here. Where was that door I couldn't open earlier? Let's go back there. I think the password is boob. I don't remember where that was. Is it in here? I guess not. It's not in the lab. There's nothing locked here. Is the survey done yet? Other 0.1%. I hear a hug bot. I don't see it. Just not what I like. One of these days I'll kill one without taking a hit. Today is not that day, it seems. I think it was in engineering. The locked door. Hey, he didn't shoot me. Yeah, here it is. Well, I can at least turn off the cameras and the turrets. Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA. I don't know where I would put that in. I know that activates, I know that does something, but can't say I remember what. I probably opened these and they closed automatically when I died, whatever. Okay, well, I think it's time to go to the bridge. Do I have all the pages, I wonder? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, I'm one off. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Maybe the last page is in the bridge. That's my current copium. There's going to be a lot of waiting on health regen for this coming section. There's a lot of garbage.
Captain Lucy Zhao, 24th March. The symptoms are worsening. I now feel... They now include heart palpitations, auditory hallucinations, bouts of delirium, inexplicable losses of motor control, and... To speak informally, I feel I am losing my mind. Solomon is not coping well with the situation, and John's... I had thought John's was more trustworthy, but... I am not certain anymore that he can be trusted at all. Since we have discussed the measures appropriate for an outbreak of this sort, he has been distant. I do not feel the quarantine measures will be enough. I worry that he is somehow responsible for the problems with the ship's systems. This is not a formal accusation. I have no one to talk to.
And there's the last number, that's 16. And he met there in the desert an ancient man who had traveled far and seen many wondrous things. It is true that this man was a sorcerer and a student of the secret arts. His matted beard and hair were dyed red, and his skin blackened with grime. The sorcerer approached Harun al-Din and peered carefully into his mask. Reflected in that golden surface, he found only his own eyes, bright with a desperation that loosened his tongue. So the sorcerer told the tale of the wizard who long ago devised a terrible spell. This dread incarnation could change the whole world so that each and everything would turn into something else. A cat may change into a well, and a bottle into a fat merchant. A camel might become a bolt of velvet, and a palm tree change into a bag of gold. The world would be remade. In the story, the wizard's daughter was so fearful her father would unleash this terror that she killed him, poisoning his wine with powdered glass. But the sorcerer smiled. But I believe that the spell was cast, perhaps many times, and this is the world we... No hugs. Oh, jeez. EC unit 215, blah, blah, blah. Weekly briefing minutes, list, initiated CDR, LZ, crew present. LZ, CJSA, dictation commenced 21st March 1982. This is the 112th weekly meeting of the crew of the Xanadu. All crew present. All crew members present. Commander Lucy Zhao cheering. Harpsichord. Let the record show that Lieutenant John sneezed. The record will show that well enough for enough, gentlemen. Thank you. Will commence with the agenda items. Item 1 concerns the recent repairs to the ship's exterior. As arranged by Lieutenant Johns, perhaps Cornell, you could give us an update. All repairs completed. The damage to Stabilizer 3B less than expected. We are fully operational and ready to return to worth whatever the commander offers. I think there are far more pressing issues to discuss, and in good time, Lieutenant. Item 2 is the opening of the sphere on the 19th and the subsequent possibility of infection. It's more than a possibility. I've calibrated the medical scanner to account for any protocol concerning the scanner is, can we drop the formality? This is expletive. We all know protocol doesn't cover this expletive. What does protocol say about 3 people having the same dream? Or Solomon, please, we need to discuss this rationally. Let the record show that Lieutenant Agnew is becoming increasingly... Johns, go and get expletive. Enough, I understand this is a sensitive issue. Better remind you both this... We, in a recorded briefing, and I'll tolerate no further breaches of standard procedure. We all know we're TAP and on the planet, but will arrive at that in due course. First, I expect immature discussion of our current knowledge of the sphere. Commander, since opening this sphere, there has... They do love cutting off at the last minute, do they? Don't they? So this is an alternate path to the bridge, which is good because it's a nightmare otherwise. There's a whole ton of the Shaki bots. Whole ton of them. Honestly, the pistols. Oh. What a shot. Alright, I'm gonna have to back off from that angle. They're too crowded around it. Ouch. Let me just sit here for a minute. Okay. I can probably go in the main way and make it. Alright, I think that's all of them. And now I need to start arranging the notes. 23 is 163. 16 is 61. 14 is 20. 18 is 4. 7 is 1. 21 is 51. 26 is 42. 5 is 14. 10 is 8. Is that all of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, okay. So, that means, in order, it is 14, 1, 8, 20, 61, 4, 51, 163, 42. Yeah, that looks right. Fourteen, 1, 8, 2, 0, 6, 1, 4, 5, 1, 1, 6, 3, 4, 2. Alpha Orionis. Autopilot on, orbital clamps off. Ready? And here we go to the good ending. If you do the normal / bad ending, where you put in the coordinates for the Earth, it shows a picture of the Earth, and it says, mission accomplished. Casualties, 4.6 billion. I like that. I like the way it does that. To get the Earth ending, you have to put in the coordinates for the Earth, and you also have to repair the cryopod like I did, and then go into it. And once you input the Earth coordinates, everything starts getting real freaky deaky. Colors start. There's a path on the ground that leads you back to the sphere fragments. But at least you got to see when you put in the hard drives, it starts raining. That was pretty cool. I like the rain. But yeah, I really like this game. There's not much, like, to it. I mean, the combat's pretty simple, and you can even brute force it because enemies stay dead, you know. But there's a lot of little details. The atmosphere's great. I love the prose of the more poetic stuff. Oh, that reminds me, I forgot to pick up the omelet poem in the kitchen. It's not a big deal. Overall, this game is just super cool. I mean, there was a good reason why when I was testing, I'm like, I want to see how this is gonna go. I want to keep playing this, since it's not super long or anything. And yeah, I just really like it a lot. But this was a one-off. I'm not going to like go and do the other endings or the Kabuki masks. So the Kabuki masks are for the alternate bad ending. If you collect all of them, and there's like 17, and then die, there's a chance that you will be that you will join the ghosts of the ship. You know, you occasionally saw like a humanoid figure flash in and out, like at the showers you saw one. If you do the ending where you get all the masks and then die, you join them. I don't really know why. I don't really think that gels with the vibe of the game, really. It's something that the only real supernatural elements are like the nature of the sphere and its virus. I think that's where the supernatural elements should stop. We don't need to be including ghosts. Like, the appearance of the ghosts, such as they are, can easily just be hallucinations, since it's clear that as soon as you disembark your ship, you're infected, because one of the white flashes happens right away. What I love is some of the hallucinations can be easily dismissed as minor glitches, like the furniture on the ceiling. Seems like it was just some sort of clipping glitch. And so, as a player, you want to sort of disregard those, giving the benefit of the doubt to a game that was obviously made on a short budget. In the same way that one of the crew may have dismissed seeing that as just like cabin fever. Like, I'm just seeing things. There's nothing to worry about. I really like that. I don't know if that was the intent, but I feel there is a good deal of ludonarrative synergy there. Putting the player in a similar decision-making state to the crew, even if it's for very different reasons. There are other weapons. There's at least one more. There's a shotgun. I think there was one vent that, as I went through, there was a fork. I only want one path. I think if you go the other way, you could get a shotgun, but whatever. It's not that important. And I don't know where to input the Konami code from John's panic room. I don't know where you're supposed to... Like, would you do it in the zombie game? I don't know. At any rate, I think that's enough for today. This felt like a pretty good stream. So I'm signing off. Go back to the logo. See you next time. I am itching for new games. See you later.